Welcome to this on-the-ground explainer. Today, we're stepping out of the studio to bring you a direct field report on the highly charged situation unfolding right now in West Bengal. We're looking at a massive show of strength by the Trinamool Congress, or TMC, right in the absolute heart of Kolkata. This is all happening on the heels of a major assembly election defeat for the party, and let me tell you, the atmosphere on the ground is just electric. Our goal today is to impartially unpack the whole shebang. What's happening, why it's happening, and the strategic moves being played by Chief Minister Mamata Banerjee. So let's just dive right into the physical reality on the streets. We're dealing with a deeply visceral scene out here. It's not just some small, quiet gathering. We are talking about huge crowds. Hundreds of dedicated TMC workers, all clutching their party flags, have literally taken over the streets of Kolkata. For days after their election defeat, party leaders and workers were practically unseen. It was radio silence. But today, that silence is totally broken. Mamata Banerjee has hit the roads, staging her very first public protest since the elections. And because of this massive influx of people pouring in from Kolkata and the surrounding areas, there is heavy police deployment, just to make sure things stay calm and don't escalate. It's this completely unapologetic, massive projection of presence. Okay, let's move into Section 1, the fight for permission and securing the protest venue. So initially, the TMC explicitly requested Rani Rashmani Avenue, but police permission was flatly denied, and they actually deployed heavy forces just to enforce that denial. Contrast that with where they ended up, the final permitted location known as the Y Channel. This spot is typically used for dharnas, sit-in protests. And this is where the massive crowd, alongside senior leaders like Dola Sen, Madan Mitra, Indranil Sen, and Kalyan Banerjee eventually gathered. It's a really interesting tactical pivot. Basically, when the first door closed, they just shifted this massive operation a half-kilometer away to the Y Channel to make absolutely sure the protest still happened.
Right, moving on to Section 2, tracing the Chief Minister's path, the journey to Y Channel.
Let's break down her exact route, because it's pretty fascinating. At minute 0, Mamata Banerjee makes a huge move. She leaves her residence. Remember, this is the very first time she's stepped out publicly since the assembly defeat. But she doesn't just head straight to the rally. First, at the 30-minute mark, she stops to offer a floral tribute at the B.R. Ambedkar statue. Then, an hour in, she moves over to the Mahatma Gandhi statue for another floral tribute. It's only after these symbolic stops, about 90 minutes in, that she finally arrives at the Y Channel to directly address the waiting crowds and urge them to remain peaceful. It's a very calculated, step-by-step physical return to the public eye. So we've mapped out the physical atmosphere, the venue changes, the route, but we really have to ask the big question here. Why this sudden show of strength? Why mobilize hundreds of workers right this second, especially when they didn't even seek initial police permission for the overall rally? Well, to understand the why, we need to take an impartial look at what's going on inside the party itself. Which brings us to Section 3, turmoil after the defeat and boosting party morale.
The reality is the TMC is battling some pretty severe internal challenges following their shocking assembly loss. According to reports from the ground, rumors are swirling that TMC MLAs are attempting to break away. We're seeing reports of secret phone calls happening behind the scenes, specifically aimed at separating certain MLAs. It's gotten to the point where the party has actually had to take disciplinary action, directly expelling individuals like Sandeep Saha and Ritu Bhattacharya for alleged anti-party activities. And as a result of all this internal friction, worker morale has just hit rock bottom. So this public projection of unity, it's not just about pushing back at the opposition. It's an urgent internal fix. It's a totally strategic move designed to boost the morale of their own workers, prove the party isn't breaking apart, and give their cadres the confidence they need to keep fighting.
Now onto Section 4, the core allegations. What exactly the TMC is protesting.
Okay, so here are the direct allegations the TMC is putting forward, which Mamata Banerjee actually first announced via a Facebook Live session yesterday. They're alleging that there have been coordinated attacks specifically targeting TMC workers. On top of that, they claim senior party leaders, specifically naming Abhishek Banerjee and Kalyan Banerjee, are being targeted. The protest is also pushing back against what they're calling the unjust arrests of their party workers, along with alleged ongoing threats coming from the police and local administration. We're reporting these points neutrally just to show you exactly what platform the TMC is using to justify this massive presence on the streets today. This is their stated cause, the reason they've hit the roads. And the intensity of these allegations culminates in a really powerful ultimatum from the chief minister. She said, if they don't let us protest in Kolkata, we'll go to Delhi. I mean, that is a clear line drawn in the sand.
It completely underscores her determination to escalate this fight for political relevance. It's a message that administrative roadblocks, like denying them Rani Rashmani Avenue, just aren't going to stop their momentum. If local authorities try to shut them down, they are more than ready to pack up and take their grievances straight to the national capital.
Which brings us to the final piece of our field report. We've looked at the crowds, the rout, the internal morale crisis, and their public allegations. But, a standoff always takes two. So the question we want to leave you with today is this. How will the Suvendu Sarkar and the wider opposition approach this totally unapologetic show of force? With the TMC signaling that they absolutely won't back down and are even willing to escalate things to Delhi, the opposition's next move is really going to dictate the political climate in West Bengal over the coming weeks. Will they engage or will they step back? That is the highest stakes political standoff we're watching unfold right now. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and keep learning.